Ugoba is the kind of village that does not let go of the people born in it. Not because of the people, because of the place itself. The soil remembers, the trees remember. The Iroko at the center of the village has been standing longer than anyone's grandfather's grandfather, and it watched everything that happened in that village, including what happened to my mother, including what was done to keep me from knowing. My name is Obi. I left this village 8 years ago when I was 19, the week after my mother died, because my father said it was better for me to go. I believed him. I should not have believed him. I should have stayed and asked every question I was afraid to ask. But I was 19 and I was grieving, and the truth was buried so deep in this village that I would not have found it then anyway. I found it at 27 when I came back. Stay with me. I had not been back to Ugoba in 3 years, not since the last visit that ended badly, with my father saying something I was not ready to hear and me leaving before he could finish saying it. We had been managing our relationship by phone since then, carefully, the way you manage something fragile. Then one Tuesday morning, his name appeared on my screen and something in my chest said, "This is the call." He said, "I am not well, Obi." Nothing dramatic, he said, just my body telling me things I should listen to. He said, "I would like to see you." I sat with the phone in my hand for a long time after he finished. And then I thought about all the things I had left unfinished in Ugoba, all the questions I had filed under not yet and kept moving. And I booked a bus ticket for Saturday. The road to Ugoba is exactly as I remembered it, and nothing like I remembered it. Both things are true simultaneously. The trees are taller, or perhaps I am simply remembering them smaller, because I was smaller when I last moved through them regularly. I watched the forest close around the bus, and I told myself, this is a visit, not a return. There is a difference. I stepped off the bus, and Ugoba looked at me the way it always looked at me, like it had been expecting me. Not my visit specifically, just eventually. Like it knew I would always come back and was simply noting that the eventually had arrived. Several people greeted me warmly. One old woman, I did not recognize her, looked at me from across the path with an expression I could not read, like she was measuring something. I did not know who she was then. I found out later. Her name was Mama Nena, and she was the oldest person in Ugoba, and possibly the oldest person in 3 villages in any direction. She looked at me from across the path for a long moment. Then she nodded once. The specific nod of someone confirming something to themselves, and turned and walked away. I stood there with my bag and thought, I have been in this village for 4 minutes. My father was sitting outside when I arrived. He looked up and I saw his face, and I understood immediately why he had called. He was not dramatically ill, no hospital drips, no dramatic thinning. He was simply less, like something had been slowly turned down inside him. His eyes when he saw me, love and guilt in equal measure. I had always thought that was just how he looked at me. I was beginning to understand it might mean something more specific. We sat and talked the way we always talked, carefully, warmly but carefully. He asked about Enugu. I asked about his health. He said the doctor had given him things to take. I said good. And in every pause between sentences, I heard all the things we had been not saying to each other for 8 years collecting. They were very loud for things that had no sound. My old room was exactly as I had left it. I sat on the bed and looked at my mother's photograph on the shelf. She had been dead for 8 years, and I still could not look at her face without the specific grief of unfinished business. Not just loss, the grief of things unsaid and the questions unasked, and the death that nobody in this village had ever fully explained to me. Tonight I would sleep in this room. Tomorrow I would start asking the questions I was afraid to ask at 19. I had not planned to see Emeka that first evening. I was just walking, the way you walk through a place you grew up in, letting memory fill the space around the present. And then I looked up, and there he was. He had seen me first. I could tell because his face had already done something and was in the process of arranging itself back to normal when I found it. He said, Obi. I said, Emeka. And then we stood there for a moment because the 8 years needed to be acknowledged, but neither of us knew the right word for them. He said, You look exactly the same. I said, You look older. He said, Thank you very much. I said, I meant it as a good thing. He said, I know. And something in the way he said I know told me that he still knew me the way he had always known me, which was more completely than anyone else did. That had not changed. He said, I am glad you came back. The way he said it was not casual. There was something underneath it. I said, Are you going to tell me what that means? He said, Not tonight. Tonight you have just arrived. Rest. Eat. See your father. Tomorrow I will tell you something. I said, Emeka? He said, Tomorrow, Obi. I promise. And he walked away, and I stood in the evening light of Ugoba, and I thought, I have been in this village for 3 hours and already 2 people are keeping something from me. Episode 2 is coming, and tomorrow, Emeka tells us something. Subscribe to Moonlight Tales by Joy so you never miss it. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Like this video, share it, and tell me in the comments. What do you think Emeka is going to tell her? I read every single one.